You know, it's going to be a really good podcast when it starts and ends with disclaimers, right? Some pretty powerful stuff that you guys are going to get today. And I'm so beyond over the moon excited for you to hear today's podcast. So, I discovered this product a little while ago. It's the story of this product. It's the people in this product. It's just beautiful. I have almost all of my clients on it, which is rare because I work on a very bio-individual case. So not everyone gets the same protocol from me. They all get something very specific and individual to them. But this one, it's pretty magical. For example, just this last week, I was out gardening and I did grow up in the Midwest, but I don't remember experiencing coming in contact with stinging nettles. In fact, I really didn't experience stinging nettles until I went to England after I got married, and I still don't recognize them. It's not something that I'm used to. Poison ivy, poison oak, all those thorny things, sure, I can identify those like nothing else, but stinging nettles, nope. So yeah, I picked up a whole thing of stinging nettles to weed it out of the garden, and my whole hand caught freaking on fire. Now, if you've ever been stung by them, you know what I'm talking about. So what do? I quick run inside, I quick grab my bottle of Nano Ojas, I spray my hand, the swelling goes away immediately, the sting goes away immediately, and I have relief, ultimate relief. So here's the deal. Today we're talking about an amazing product, but we're really getting to know the people behind this product, my favorite product in the world. They're really, really awesome, and I'm so excited for you to meet them. The other thing is yes, I am, full disclosure, I am an affiliate because I wanted to get a discount code for my clients and my friends because, I mean, who doesn't love a discount? And the affiliate, a partnership that I have with them is I don't make money. So I don't get a percentage of money cash paid to me for bottles that are sold. This is just kind of complete transparency with y'all. I actually get credit towards bottles for my family. So, and it's not very much. It's a very small percentage. So yes, I do get credit towards bottles that I use for my own family. This is not a money-making thing for me. This podcast is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form by Nano Ojas. This is simply me really wanting to get to know the product and really getting to know the people behind the product. So I'm so excited for you to join me today. Please welcome Stephanie and Natasha from Nano Ojas. So yeah, thank you ladies so much for joining me this morning. I'm trying really hard not to be all geeking out talking to you. It really is an honor to spend time with you. Conversations with Natasha in the past have always left me just feeling really high and hopeful and just full of life. And so I'm very expectant and excited just to meet you more, Stephanie, and get to know you both much better. So could you maybe start us off? I don't know who wants to go first, but I would love to hear your stories. I mean, you don't have to go into depth in your life story, but just your story of kind of where you came from, where you went, and how you kind of found Nano Ojas.
Yeah, Natasha and I always felt like our meeting was cosmic. It was kindred. It was fated to happen, and it was in the dorms, our freshman year in college of all places. And we actually grew up like 20 minutes from each other and didn't really even know it. So she moved to Oregon when she was really little. I'm native Oregonian, and we had some health challenges in our 30s from a lot of really tricky, unexplainable type of stuff. And that's sort of the genesis of why a lot of us dive into this, right? Because we don't have answers. We don't have people we can rely on to support us the way we need. And we just eventually have to fend for ourselves. So Natasha was bedridden. I was postpartum. We were dealing with our own separate issues. Both got into car accidents.
Wow.
Just for fun of that. And then she was introduced, Dr. Raghavan had told her father about this formula. And so she began trying it, and it started to work on one little thing. Sometimes that's all it takes, and the cascade effect from there, and you just start to heal layer by layer. And sometimes that's all you need. And sometimes it's something that is corrected that you didn't even realize needed corrected before you felt this auxiliary benefit, if that makes sense. So the deep cellular healing. We're starting to see it outwardly on our skin and our energy. So when we started experimenting with it on our own, and we saw the results really, really quickly, and we said, of course, well, who else? Who else do we know who's struggling? Who else do we know who's suffering? So we shared it with our inner circle, our family, our friends, some choice colleagues, on everything from their child's rashes. Gosh, it was hand, foot, and mouth. My colleague had an awful reaction to poison oak, and they were put on prednisone, which did not help. So I'm like, can I please douse you? You're a mess. And just to give him some relief. So that's kind of where it started. And then we thought, hey, how do we get this into more people's hands? And we're like, let's just start a website. So we built one overnight. Just said we were going to figure it out.
Wow. Like that.
Like that.
And it really certainly started with our own health issues and seeking something that was more holistic. And I mean, the big part of this is like never just settling and always going out and seeking answers, like craving that knowledge. I mean, we both have a passion for knowledge and our curiosity and wanting something better for ourselves, our family, our friends. I mean, the essence of it is really like wanting to help other people. And that's always been our central mission. And I think we have that innate longing to always like care for others and nurture and, make sure that everybody has what they need, but also seeing that, we're strong enough in our health and our resilience to be able to support others the way that, we want to be supported, but just being capable of doing that without over stressing our bodies or doing things that's really going to hurt us more than actually help us.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it all kind of started in 2014. I feel like that's when I really started using the formula, and that's when I handed it off to Steph as well. So, at that point, it wasn't even in our range of like creating a brand, investing in this formula, bringing it to America from Switzerland, I mean, we were on Amazon, but we're not on there anymore, but creating a website. It wasn't even in our vision at that point. We were just trying to like get through each day and trying to navigate our own health issues. And then, as Steph mentioned, like sharing it with family and friends. I was going for treatment down in California, and I would just I'd have some samples that I received from my uncle, Dr. Raghavan. And I would say, we talk about our health issues. This clinic that I went to, they would see like 250 people a day from all around the world. And they were very much like against kind of mainstream, like really into more, I guess, non-conventional.
Oh, non-conventional.
Yeah, very non-conventional. And so, people had been like suffering for a really long time with complex layers of health issues, and they would come to this clinic. And so we would all just talk about our health journeys. And then I'd, break out the Nano and be like, hey, have you tried this? Because it's helped me and, XYZ with all of these things. And then the next day I'd see these people again at the clinic, and they tell me all of these. I mean, I had this lifelong issue with sun sensitivity on my skin and I don't have it anymore. Or I have this hard to heal wound and it's gone. Or, I felt like I had a scratchy throat and I was getting sick, and I sprayed that. They call it the magic spray, and then it's just gone the next day. So, and that really motivated us to like sink in deeper to this. And we realized that we really have something powerful on our hands. And I always say that it's really by a higher design that this fell into our lap. Like there was a reason why Steph and I were really like chosen to do this, not just because we've gone through our own health journeys and we can really empathize with people. But there's just, for a while, we really had to understand how it works with ourselves and our bodies and how it's helping others. I mean, before you could hear us say like the level of what these products could do, like we really needed to understand the efficacy, the integrity of the product, the science behind it, and understand it so we would really live up to our word. And that took some years. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more like how you came across it. Like Stephanie mentioned that it kind of fell into your lap a little bit. Like how did it fall into your lap? How did you find this to begin with?
So my uncle's a formulator, Dr. Raghavan. And so he would he would send stuff to my dad. So this was already launched in Malaysia and a couple of other Asian countries about a little over a decade ago. So it's made in Switzerland. And so my uncle would like send like samples, and he was in the pharmaceutical industry for about 40 years in drug research and metabolism. He kind of did a full like 180 and is like completely out of that world. They really had, I think he did share this with some of his colleagues, but they had, no interest in it, which we're not surprised. But he was really early on, he was working on getting all the patents. There's 3 patents awarded to him in the United States. He has pretty much in like every country around the world, he's applied for patents and has been granted those patents. But yeah, he would send these samples to my father. And early on, we really only had kind of wound healing photos. And most of the research was around like metabolic health, cardiovascular disease, those kinds of things. And then as the research continued and more people got their hands on this formula, Dr. Raghavan realized that, okay, it not only works on these vitamin D receptors, but it's working on all of these other things in the body. It's really just like, it's working on the whole cellular network. And the essence of it is the cellular resilience piece and what it's doing for the immune system. So it was really my father that introduced it to me. Then I introduced it to Steph, and it kind of just, cascade effect. Like that.
So Steph, you said you were kind of in a season of postpartum and you had a car accident, you had a lot. So what were kind of the first things that you saw Nano really, like what were the first layers of the onion that Nano helped like resolve or heal or just kind of, help?
Yeah. Well, what was funny was Natasha was dealing with a whole host of things, but she said, okay, I have this weird like outbreak on my hands of like these little black spots. She's like, I think they're warts. And she said that she used the Nano on it. It helped. And I'm not even kidding. This is another reason why I think like we're cosmically destined to do this is I got the same outbreak on my hands. I'm like, you can't be serious. So I knew that she had used it. So when I got my first bottle, I tried it on it and they were gone with just in like a matter of a few weeks. So from there, it was very much energy support.
Energy support.
Yes, it was the formula modulates appropriate immune responses. So it helps our cells function the way they're meant to without triggering. Like a lot of sensitive people with sensitive constitutions, they're so afraid of things and they don't want something to ignite inflammation in the body that they have to recover from. That's largely why people find their way here, because they can use it safely and reliably. So we weren't looking to stack on top of what we were already dealing with. And you probably know that most people have varying layers of things that they're dealing with. And the thought of adding one more is just utterly, utterly frightening. And it can keep people frozen and not wanting to do anything, or they don't know what to address. That's where the formula kind of stepped in for us. It's like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, but I know it helped for this one thing. I'm going to stick with it and believe that it's going to help with other things. And it did. And it didn't take long either to where we were confident enough that we just had to share it with people. And I remember when we first decided we were going to build a website. So naive of us, we were just like,
oh yeah.
We could find a free site. And we were so locked into the science. We would have just these all-night meetings where we're trying to talk about the receptor and the active form of vitamin D3, which it's known to kind of replicate. And we were just going so deep into it while also trying to figure out how to sell it to people. And at the same time, we were tasked with, we want to help fix all these other people's problems. And yet there's altruism there, but we're a business. So we couldn't just want this badly enough for people. People had to want it. So that was a huge hurdle that took us years to cultivate our message and, help people where they are, but also not do the work for them, I guess. It's very tricky because we just want to help everybody. And it's people helping people. That has been our North Star from the start. And anyone who's in the line of work that you and I are in and we're in is, that's the genesis of all of it.
Girl, go ahead.
We always talk about like planting seeds, we'll plant the seeds of Nano, like make the suggestions, share the information, talk about it. But it's really up to the individual to take accountability and ownership and do the work, water their garden, tend to their terrain, So
We kind of sell hope. We really do. We have to help people understand that there is like a light, and this formula can be a really like a direct line to that. And that to never stop believing that there is something better for you out there. It's a fight. It's not easy, but just keep believing in yourself and know that we can help you along the way if you want to go there.
That's right. So what was it that led you to naming it Nano Ojas?
Yeah, so my uncle, the developer of the formula, he actually already had the name. We licensed it from him. But OJOS is in essence like the life force or the vitality. And it's a Sanskrit word. That's the origin of it. So it's really about like immunity, strength, and happiness, everything we want an abundance of. It comes down to just like the life force and vigor. So
it's beautiful.
Yeah, it was. It was a name that was already given, and it fits. So it made sense. It is sold in different names around the world. There's like 3 different names that the formula is sold under, but the patent name, which you'll see on the research, and we refer to it as metadicol. And I remember when I was first introduced to it, and I was like, okay, is it Nano Ojas? Is it metadicol? Like, what is it? Why are there all these names? And so it was a little confusing, but metadicol is a patent name. So the formula itself, like the formula is nanopolycostinol. That's the ingredient.
What
That's
it is.
That's the
super ingredient.
That's a nano emulsion is nanopolycostinol. Our brand name is Nano Ojas, and the patent name for the formula. So what he's filed the patent for the nanopolycostinol for the main nano emulsion is metadicol. And he named it metadicol is because the formula works in a very methodical way. That's why we tell people that sometimes it takes time to adapt to your body and learn what it needs and what it needs to clear, balance out. And oftentimes people will begin using it for one thing, and then it's kind of like a cascade effect on the other things that it helps along the way. So, okay, I noticed that, I'm taking it internally and, my skin's improving after using it. And we have the 3 formulas or the 3 products. We have the immune spray, we have the skin spray, and we have the sinus spray. And they all have the same nanopolycostinol formula in it. The different labels allow us to make separate claims and just market it for the specific
tape there, right?
Yes.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So we launched the sinus spray about 2 years ago, and that's really been a game changer for people. And it's funny. I remember seeing like a reel that you posted, Rebecca, like using it. And I know it can be pretty intense.
Burn a little. The first time you use it, it's like, oh, it's a little shock, but it's a good feeling. It's like, oh, it's clearing. It's like, oh my gosh, it's immediate relief right out. It's just kind of like when you go for a chiropractic adjustment and that crack and that it's just really uncomfortable. Then it's like, oh,
yeah. I mean, when I was using it during mold exposure and mold detox, like that was also kind of during our beta testing phase. So I was using a lot. I was like, okay, how fast can I get through this bottle? How many sprays are in it? How much do I really need to use to like start feeling the effects? So I'm pretty intense. Like I use it in my eyes. I use it literally everywhere on my body, but I felt it in like the back of my head, like the occipital area back here when I would spray it in my nose. I felt it back there.
Wow.
So yes, it is. It is more than just your classic sinus spray.
It is not a classic sinus spray. It works on a whole nother level.
Right.
We've recently had like forest fires up north or whatever. The smoke has been drifting. We get smoke drifting, so our air quality can get pretty bad during the forest fire season. We don't get forest fires, but we get the effects of it. And oh my goodness, the headaches and the sneezing. And we also live near farms, so I always know when they're tilling or they're spraying because my eyes are, and I don't have allergy issues. Like I've never been a person with allergies, but I'll just get like the sinus headache. Man, the Nano Ojas has been such a relief.
I can't remember, where are you located?
Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm in the Midwest.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the sinus spray has just been, we've got bottles all over the house now, and we use it. It's great. So like, Can you explain a little bit more? So you were using it, Stephanie, postpartum, I'm assuming. So is it safe to use pregnant, post, like breastfeeding? Like, are there contraindications of anything? Like,
no known contraindications with nanopolycosynol. So it's a fabulous choice for anybody. My kids were using it since they were little. I would use it for nursing, like on
relief.
I
You're all
wasn't the
like,
greatest.
you need relief. I've been there. Yeah.
Relief there. I had cesarean section, so using that for the aftercare, even on the steri strips. We've had people use it for, post-vaginal delivery, if there's tearing or there's very sensitive issues there with recovery, and it's a lot of pain. So pain management is such an celebrated facet of this spray. And I mean, we could regale you with tales from here to there, but
we have to be careful with what we say with claims. So
Well,
there's
yeah.
so many things that we could say that it's can help with, but we have to like kind of say it in a different way.
But like anecdotally with us, if you're asking like what we've used it on, and
Right.
this isn't medical advice, this is just how we've applied it and stuff.
Maybe it's on here.
Educational purposes only is we're just sharing. And gosh, my youngest, she was the first in our family to use the sinus spray when we came out with it a couple years ago, and the kids still use it. Topically, I love it because, and internally, because it just gives you a lot of autonomy over your own health. So it's great for, teens, young adults, people who are on the go, they're busy, their jobs, their school. It's such a wild time of life, and they are getting more and more autonomy as they age. And so this is a great tool, for instance, for anybody in that age group who's looking to have a little bit more control of their energy and their immune health. And also it's great for just adventures and being able to tackle any sort of skin issue, whether it's acne, like using it daily. I have rosacea. I started using it, Natasha, instead of before bed. I started using it 2 more times during the day, and I'm getting it under control, which is great.
It was the rosacea. Like I had discovered that it was my liver that was really like the root cause. Like I had so like I was doing the enemas and I was doing all kinds of things to like help clear out and detox my body. But my face was slowly clearing, and I tried everything and I did. I was so desperate. When you're desperate, you try anything and everything. So I did the steroids, topical, internal. I did, the, parasite stuff. I mean, everything to even homeopathics. And I was doing okay. And then I got left with this massive bump on my nose of like really thick skin. And every time my nose would get bonked, which I have a dog and kids and I'm very klutzy, it would just get bumped and then it would just bleed. Nothing was clearing that up. And I saw somebody else posting. That's what introduced me to your product. Actually, I saw somebody posting about how it helps with skin. So I bought it and I started spraying it on my nose twice a day. And within a week, it completely healed. And what was hard and calloused, really thick skin was back to normal, soft, squishy, like normal tissue again. And it just took me a week. And then I was like, wait a minute, what is this stuff?
Incredible. Right.
It was like my introduction, like this is different. So because, trying everything to repair. So that's when I like got on your website, and I love all the studies on there, because with my clients now I can be like, this is a product I think might help you. Here's some studies, look into it, look it up. And, it's just been, I've seen the vast variety of ways that it has helped me personally, my family, my clients. But like my son last year he was just not himself. He was just tanking, and like, he was fine. Like everything was fine, and his diet was fine, and his movement was fine, and everything was fine. But I was like, something's really off here. And, you just kind of go with that mama gut, like, what is this?
Yeah.
And I immediately started thinking, well, I think he might be low in vitamin D, which is really common in my area. Everybody in my area is basically borderline rickets. I don't have a single client that's not borderline rickets in our area that I work with in the area. And so I went and got it tested, and it was. I mean, rickets, I think different doctors, measure vitamin D differently for that level. But I mean, his was like pushing 15. I mean, it was low. And so I was like, so we actually kind of did something. We did get him some vitamin D, a lot of vitamin D supplementation right away, kind of like a quick protocol, but we started using the Nano, and that's what I think helped maintain, and it just got him out of this funk, like mentally, emotional, just energy wise. But it was like he was just in this mental, moody funk that, a lot of teenagers do get in. And I was thinking, this is not normal teenage moodiness. And so we just have used it, and it's, along with other things, but that's when I was like, wow, okay, so this is doing something on the inside. It's not just the skin anymore. We're affecting the body, and, which is affecting, mental health too, for, for my family, which has just been, my goodness, such a gift. Because
it's so easy.
It's so easy. It's just a couple sprays in the mouth. And then for him, and my daughter, they love it for their acne, for their face, routine, which has just been amazing. And then my husband, God bless him, he just went through a whole bottle this week because he keeps going outside, which he goes outside multiple times a day to do different things, but he keeps getting eaten by bugs because he refuses to use bug spray. And so, yeah, the first thing he does when he comes in the house, he sprays all his legs and arms down.
It's true.
Just immediate relief, which is really nice. I don't have to listen to him whining and complaining about itching.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Go outside again. It's going to happen again.
The number of times we've been told that the skin spray has saved people on their vacations, not just from really bad like sunburns, but also bug bites. Right. So like traveling to any, other climate where there's like lots of bugs and mosquitoes and spiders and things like that. Not only does it take away the itch, but it takes away the pain. It just like calms the bite down. I mean, on Steph, the bee sting that she got, that was pretty gnarly. That was it was years ago, but we have a photo on our website, nanoojas.net, under the before and after page. We have around 70 different photos of how this is working for various skin issues.
Different timelines.
Yeah. The stuff on the bottom's pretty graphic. So it goes from bug bites and rashes and eczema, and then amputee wound.
Visual warning, the farther down you go the rabbit hole with those pictures, the more graphic it gets.
Right.
Yes.
But it was so interesting because we did a timestamp on how it helped with her foot. So she got a bee sting. I think it was at the bottom of your foot, or
it was right in the arch.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And it was like that big old nodule, and it was in the evening.
Yep. And yeah, so it started off with the nodule. It was red, and then she sprayed the Nano. And this was all, I would say it all happened within the hour.
I think it was within the hour.
Within an hour. And then after she sprayed it, immediately the pain went away. And I've never been stung by a bee, so I don't know what that feels like.
Are you serious?
Are you what? No, there's no way.
And I'm in my garden all day.
That's insanity.
I'm just one with the bees.
I think that's the first I've ever met.
Excuse me, I have plenty of pollinators.
I know you do. That was a jab. Your garden is lovely.
Yeah, no, I don't know. We vibe. So yeah. And so we sprayed the Nano, the pain went away, but the area that we sprayed, it got almost like a bruised color. I was like, does that hurt? She's like, no. It was literally sucking the bee venom out of her skin or something. It was pulling out toxins. And then it was completely normal, nothing even happened. She didn't even have the redness, or you couldn't even see where the sting spot was. It was wild.
When did this happen?
This was years ago.
2000.
With my children and with my friends' kids, they know that if we go on hikes or something, stinging nettle, it's going to take care of it. You get a bee sting, we're good. All this is fine. I was just going to share another story. What was that about? When Olivia, my oldest, was in kindergarten, her teacher, who I love to pieces, got shingles.
Oh,
and she got a clean on her torso and she was just I can't stand it. It feels like things are crawling. It just, anyone who's had shingles would understand that feeling, I guess. And she picked up a bottle for me, and she said it neutralized everything. It was a fraction of the intensity from the pain to that weird, creepy, crawly feeling. And it healed pretty quickly too. Shingles is gnarly.
Yeah, that's rough. That's amazing that it did it so fast.
And a non-drug alternative versus having to go to the doctor or having to get on something that's going to be harmful, or a prednisone or something that's going to destroy your immune system or whatever.
Yeah.
You can just spray it on and use it internally. We always talk about the 2-prong approach. I don't know if Natasha's ever brought that up yet, especially with tough to treat skin issues, using internally for the body support and then topically to help with any pain or residual redness.
And we talked about like applications and how it's great really for the range of anybody. And when we say it's great for kids, it's we can't advise that it's good for pregnant women or breastfeeding, but we have plenty of pregnant women, including family members and friends and breastfeeding mamas postpartum, who are using this formula personally for themselves, but also for their kids. We've had like babies as young as like 6 months old use it for eczema as well. So it's great for like really sensitive skin.
Rash, oh my God. Instant soothing.
Yeah.
Instant soothing.
I wish I had this stuff years ago.
I know. I know.
And
I do too.
And I know you work with like the high school population, right? And I feel like, my nieces and nephew and your kids and other kids we know, that, like when they've started kind of younger on this, like they kind of take their own ownership with it. Like my niece has like a bottle on her desk. She's 11 years old. Like she keeps her own bottle. I think Piper wanted to like pack it to school one day, right?
They have them at school, and I say, if you need this for any reason, or you're
like they know how to use
energy
it.
drop
So,
or whatever.
Yeah.
Like for my health course, one of the things I do is I give them like a good first aid kit list. So, the typical bandages, gloves, scissors, different things. And as I was pondering it and thinking about, with my daughter in college, like I kind of sent her with a real crunchy first aid kit. Like there's a lot of weird things that not normally found, but the one thing was a bottle of Nano Ojas. And it was interesting. This, she rarely ever gets sick, but this last semester around midterms, it was like exam week. Her throat started to get really sore, and she had blisters and ulcers just going all through her mouth, all the way down her throat, and she got a fever. And I was like, I think you might need to go to the nurse on campus and just have them culture swab and just check it, just to make sure it's not like, it was gnarly. And she was pushing like a 103 fever, and I completely forgotten that she had a bottle of Nano Ojas. So I'm kind of giving her some other tips and tricks. Like, I don't know why I forgot, but it was just one of those, I couldn't remember what I sent with her. So she goes to the nurse, and the nurse, swabbed her, tested her for a couple different things. And they're like, oh, it's just a virus. She's like, so I don't have anything to do with it. I'm just going to suck on ice because that's the only thing giving me relief. And I'm like, well, what do you have? Like, what do you have access to right now in your room? Because she's like, I'm not going to the store, buy things. And I saw the bottle, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, so start spraying that on your throat. And she had immediate relief. Her fever broke within an hour. And she'd been sick for 2 days at that point. And it was hours, and she was back up. And yeah, the ulcers went away by the end of that day. And she was probably like 90% back to herself by the next day. And so I'm like, this has to go in first aid kits to kids for college. Absolutely. That's why I was like, okay, I put an asterisk next to it. That's why I was like, who do I want to talk to about this in my podcast to help kids? I was like, you guys, because this is like the one thing that doesn't take up very much space. It's just so versatile.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, we joke about it. I think I told you this, Natasha, our family jokes about it. We actually call it the Katniss. We call it the Katniss because in Hunger Games, when she's just been burned and she's up in the tree, in Hunger Games, she gets blessed with this little gift from the sky of this cream that she puts on her burn, and it immediately brings relief and heals. And I was like, this is the stuff.
This is the
This
stuff.
is it. We'll have to add that to our list of
down, Katniss.
the Katniss.
It's not the cream, but it does like the same thing that you read about in the book. I'm like, oh my goodness, we actually have this technology. Because when you read that book or you see something like that that's futuristic, you think, wow, it's going to be a long time before we discover something like that.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, we actually have it. We have something like that is portrayed like in a futuristic book. It's here in the now. And
Right.
anyway, so
well, and that's a neat thing about it is that looking at the science, it is very modern technology, kind of futuristic, using nanotechnology to transform something that's really kind of something from the ancient world, a nutrient that's been around for ages in our food, but just like processed out of our food system. And now it's back in this like ultra absorbable way that our bodies can recognize, utilize, and absorb at the cellular level. And, we always go back to the cellular piece. And that's the brilliance of this formula, that it's able to tap into this innate intelligence that we have within us. And that's what we love about it. And I think that's what it works so well for so many people, because it's something that our bodies are like, oh yeah, like it's almost this like innate remembering of, okay, this is how my body is meant to naturally express itself.
Yeah. So what are some like pushbacks that you guys have received, especially like I know in the nano supplement world, I have received pushback and have even received warnings like you shouldn't use nano vitamins because it's such a concentrated amount of a vitamin that the cell may not know what to do with it. It could cause more damage, or like I know there's a lot of misconceptions out there. What are some common pushbacks or misconceptions do you guys feel like you face with this science?
Well, I think the nano piece has been mostly around like the skincare, like the nano sunscreens and things like that, but the structure of the formula is really unique because it's water soluble. There have been toxicology reports done on this formula. We go through extensive testing for heavy metals, molds, microbes, like all of that in Switzerland. And Swiss are like very strict about literally everything. So it's also kosher. So, non-GMO, you have to use very specific high sourced ingredients in order to have that certification. It's also ISO certified. So it's like, it really goes through an extensive testing process. So we're very confident on the way that the safety profile of it. That being that it's a lipid, and that it's water soluble, it's, that itself is really different than other types of nano supplements. And I mean, you'll see on our Instagram page, our handle is at Nano Ojas, the highlights that we have topic specific highlights, everything from, hair and scalp and eye health and sinus and brain and spine and autoimmune and kids. Literally everything. Oh yeah, pets. We'll talk about that. But you can see just all the different ways that this formula is helping people. And I think that really shows like the depth and the safety of this, because I mean, people wouldn't be coming back to this if it didn't work for them, And these are often really sensitive people who have tried everything under the sun, have had all the labs. They say that they're normal. They've seen all the specialists. They've tried all the things. And then they suddenly find us and they're like, where have you guys been? Like, what is this? Like, I don't even care.
Why doesn't
Just give it
everyone
to me.
know this?
Give me a gallon.
What is like one of your biggest or most memorable, it could be funny or serious, like moments of experiencing this? Like it could be you or somebody else that you've seen it work with. Like, I don't know if I'm wording that question very well.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was my mom, but Steph, what about you?
Gosh, that's a tough one. A lot of it has just been these little minute things in the day, nothing of note to stand up and shout about, but I've just witnessed little miracles in everybody that has ever used the formula. And whether that happens really quickly in my own family, like for instance, I know that it works great on fevers. Your daughter experienced that too. It's reliably worked on it. And I'm not we need to use medicine and bring down a fever. Fevers they're natural. We need this to heal. Swimmer's ear. This formula also works to create what's known as antimicrobial peptides or AMPs. And I've found this to be terrific for any sort of stomach upset, gastric upset, especially if you're on vacation or something. Absolutely. Just spray it in the mouth and get started on it. So, but I think the stabilizing energy piece and making us just a little bit more resilient when it comes to everyday life and stressors. I will say personally, gosh, I think it was years ago when I got the flu. Never get the flu. And I was down and out for like maybe a day. And that's something I've always said about this formula is even when I am struggling with something, because it's not perfect and we're all going to face certain things and that's just life, but I'm never not able to take care of my responsibilities. I'm never absolutely like useless to my family where I'm bedridden. I can still function and I can get through things quicker. And as somebody with a kind of colorful health past like Natasha and I, you can't put a price on that.
I think that's beautiful. We look so much for like the big change, adding up all the micro moments. That's huge. And being able to say that, you're able to still live your life fully, and you're able to just sustain, especially as a mom and with kids running a business, which is no simple task. I think, the micro moments really that's huge.
Add up, and Natasha and I have this insane confidence about this formula. There's nothing we don't think it can handle. If something crops up, even if it's something brand new, we know what our first line is.
Give it a shot. We'll see what happens.
It's effective.
Yep.
We've known this for so many other things. What on earth would make us think that it wouldn't work?
And I certainly think it's a combination. Like, we mentioned before, there are no contraindications. It really complements like other therapies as well. So, we have a lot of people in like the bioenergetic space using like kinesiology, muscle testing, and energy medicine, using plant medicines. Even those who are on the conventional route who are trying to like get off of like, decades of prescription medications, or they're doing more of like an integrative oncology where they're going through chemo or radiation, but they're also doing like, hyperbaric chamber and high dose vitamin C and some of these other like anti-parasitic type things out there. This definitely like is one of the main things that we would say that they'll need to add to their regimen. Because it doesn't interfere with anything. If anything, it strengthens and complements all the other treatments. So that's why a lot of practitioners like it too, because it's so easy and it's not a pill. But for me, my own health journey, certainly it's helped tremendously with so many things. When I was bedridden after 2 back surgeries, I had histamine issues, MCAS. That was a little over a decade ago. And back then, like, they didn't really know they were just learning about MCAS and POTS. And
I don't even think they still know what that is.
Right. And what other things? At one point, a doctor thought I had like Chiari, like stuff with my cerebellum. Yeah, like all sorts of things. And I was literally facing possibly a neck surgery and a 3rd back surgery on top of all of these like rare diseases that I was diagnosed with. And I couldn't even like walk. I was a prisoner in my own home. Like I had to wear shoes in the shower because I have felt like my Achilles area was like being cut open. I couldn't do like grocery stores or something. I had a very limited time outside of the house, and like everything had to be so predictable because anything can set me off. Just even standing on one kind of surface, I would get like dizzy. And so I really felt like a prisoner in my own body. And it took me a while to like get everything under control, but I did like chiropractic, acupuncture, spiritual work, holistic pelvic care, like supplements.
You had an Ayurvedic specialist come to your home because
I did. I had Ayurvedic care at home. So, I've done a lot of things, but Nano was a huge central piece of my healing. And like, I think about like, when I really started using it, when it was 2016, I think, or 15 or 16. And I feel like I went through a major detox. Like looking back in retrospect, like I didn't know what was happening to my body, but I because I was like heavily dosing on it at that time, like I think what I went through for that month was a heavy detox.
Really? When you say heavy dosing, what is that? What is a heavy?
I was probably,
You're drinking the holiday, sister.
I was going through it. I was probably taking like, I don't know, 10 sprays, like multiple times a day. So, and I was going through a lot of nerve pain. I had like all sorts of stuff, and I was getting like corrective chiropractic care, and I was applying it on my body. And again, we hadn't even launched this, so I didn't know like the potential for detox or like what this can do in that realm. But we talk about that again on our Instagram page under tips. We really dive into the detox. There's also the how to use on our under FAQ on our website. So we talk about a loading dose, maintenance dose, and kind of a sensitive protocol. We suggest that people try just even one spray a day because it's so powerful if they're really sensitive and they're kind of prone to detox. And then you can like raise up a spray per week. But a lot of people just start with 6 sprays a day. That's the suggested dose. But you really can't get it wrong unless you don't listen to your body. You know,
Just listen
like
to your body, people. Just
listen to your body, tap into your intuition. Your body knows, you know your body. And of course, you know, we're here to support you. I know you know a lot about the product too, Rebecca. So
I'm learning. I love it with my clients. It's just been phenomenal working with all my one-on-one clients. Yeah. Anyway.
Love that.
No one I have, though, has experienced any of the detox symptoms yet. So I keep waiting for that one person to give me that feedback. And so for those who might be listening a little like cautious, just no one that, and all my clients are very complex health. You know, I've been waiting for that to come up and it hasn't yet.
And it doesn't happen for every person, but it's just something to keep in mind. And, you know, I would say 99% of the people tolerate all the detox like really well. It's not anything scary, like some side effect from like a pharmaceutical or anything.
Yes.
It's just as long as they know that my body's healing, like it's letting go of stuff that needs to not be there so I can heal on a deeper root level. Like as long as they know the course of it, like they're fine, whether it's with their skin, where sometimes acne gets a little bit worse before it gets better, or, you know, might feel like it gets a little flushed or red right when you spray it and then that goes away, or you know, slight stomach upset or something. Oftentimes these healing crises and the healing detox kind of mimics like what you're actually trying to heal from. But if you're working with a practitioner and you're supporting your liver and you're supporting your detox pathways and you're getting the hydration, getting sunshine, you know, whole foods, all the things, you know, you're going to be fine. But I want to kind of go back to what you said. What was like the big impact with this formula? And besides my own personal journey and all the other people that I've introduced this to, like, I saw something incredible with my mother. And in 2009, and she didn't even have a primary care physician. Like she never really went to the doctor. She was 69 years old then. And I would say she was overall pretty healthy. Like she ate what she wanted. Like she's very active. She still works, you know, she's, you know, big in the community here. And, but in 2019, she got really sick and she didn't get better. And eventually she was hospitalized in the emergency room and they did all these tests and they determined that she had a rare autoimmune disease, a kidney type vasculitis that not just affected her kidneys, but she had patches on her lungs, her sinuses, her skin. So the treatment for this rare disease is high doses of chemo infusions and high doses of prednisone. People have this every 6 months for the rest of their lives. And I've even talked to people at like nurses at infusion centers that give out these infusions. And I'm like, has there anyone like not having to come back for these infusions? And, you know, this person I spoke to said, no, like I've never had someone with this same condition not come back because their organs will like, you know, shut down. So right away, I started my mom on Nano Ojas. I read Dr. Raghavan's kidney paper. I was consulting with him every single day, taking photos of like her lab work. And he looks at things a little bit differently. Like what's the body doing on like a chemical level?
Yeah,
like
I love that lens.
Let's look at like the biomarkers, like, you know, why are we seeing the UBC high here? What's going on with her creatinine? What's, you know, why is her CRP changing the way this is? Like he looks at different things. And so I started her on a very, very aggressive dose. And like, I didn't know if it was I didn't know how it was going to help her. I just knew that it was going to help her. I didn't know the potential of like the level of how it was going to assist her. I just knew that with all the other things that they were doing in the hospital, like this is the one thing that's ultimately going to like support her like immune system. And, you know, it's doesn't have any contradiction. So it's not going to affect all the other things that they're doing. So, and intuitively, I just knew that it was going to help more than like hurt. So I was trying to get enough in her based on like the kidney studies. And so she was in the hospital for about 10 days. And then, she had a rheumatologist, a pulmonologist, kidney nephrologist, like all the specialists. 1 month after she was released from the hospital after 10 days. And then a month later, her lung doctor was like, oh, the patches on your lungs are totally gone. Like, you don't need to see me anymore. And then she just had the kidney specialist and the rheumatologist. And she got about, I think, 3 infusions. And she did quickly get off the prednisone because she just didn't like the way it was doing on her, in her system. And then COVID happened and everything. And she really didn't want to go into these infusion centers to get him. So the doctor's like, okay, let's just do your labs and monitor everything. And I would say about a year and a half later, after consistently doing Nano, and she's on like a handful of other supplements, all of her labs started coming back clear. Like it wasn't even showing the autoimmunity in her biomarkers. Like there was no autoimmunity. All of her inflammation was good. There was no trace of blood, which is not like a UTI or anything. It's something that where your kidneys drop red blood cells in your urine. And there wasn't any of that, even a trace.
Atypical.
Yeah. So they called her case like atypical dramatic improvement. I'm like, we'll go with it. I'm fine with it. So
of some kind when they can't explain what's happening.
That's exactly what happened. Right.
Oh my goodness.
So, and to this day, she is still doing well. Like we're so blessed. We're so thankful to God that her autoimmune disease is in remission is what they say. So, I mean, we call it really a reversal of the autoimmunity, but yes, they say, and she just had all of her appointments about 2 months ago. And now her specialists are like, you don't need to see us anymore. Just follow up with your primary care and, send us the labs now and then. So now she doesn't even see the specialists. Like they're done with her.
Wow.
Because she hasn't had infusions or any of their treatments in like over 2 years, 3 years now. So yeah. And it was definitely the Nano, 100%. There's nothing else to explain it. You know what I mean? So it's not the magnesium or the B complex that's doing it. Even though those things are really great and helping her, but it's not that.
So oh my goodness, there's so much that it does. There's so much that you guys been through. There's so many stories and you created this beautiful business and support system. And I freaking love you guys. Like, do you have anything next on your agenda? Or are you just going to keep going the same way that you're going? Like, is there anything new on the horizon, or are you going to try something new or add anything?
Well, people have been asking for bigger bottles. So that's something that we're going to explore, like a larger bottle size. And in terms of the products, like we're sticking with our bread and butter, which is the immune spray, skin spray, and the sinus spray. And yeah, I mean, the newest one is a sinus spray, just like the deeper nasal application. We're kind of exploring other things as well that fit into and align with our lifestyle. Steph's gotten into like the hydrogen water and water business. And because that's such a key, and like, I can't believe I haven't been filtering my water my whole life, like, what am I even doing?
What do you learn about your water?
Disgusting. So, I mean, she got me on that. So, we've just kind of expanding to the things that like make sense for us and our families to just continue on this holistic journey.
Love it. What is something in your daily routines that, I know you use Nano throughout, in your daily routines, but what is something else that you have found that it just is really grounding for you in your day, in your regular rhythm?
As far as a practice, like outside of taking Nano?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, Natasha and I like to spend time in the garden when it's not, well, we're
like
in the
little
Northwest. We're in the Northwest. So we live through 9 months of darkness for these days.
9 months of like brown too. Are very sacred and holy.
People low vitamin D, same situation here. So that's such a core component of what this formula can do. But yeah, getting out into nature as much as we can.
Right.
Keeping up with our hydration. Size is big. Finding things that work in our, mid 40s, things that used to work in our 20s and 30s just no longer align, and just energetically you can't do them. So like whether that's a certain workout or a certain food or certain relationships. It's all about rediscovering like what suits you and your soul and eliminating that which doesn't, whether it's a toxic product or a toxic person or, it's very nice because there's a lot of clarity there. It's bonkers at the same time, but thank God for the ability to have clarity that maybe we didn't have in our earlier years. Find what feels good for us. It's, you know, a small circle of people who support us and love us, lots of family, getting barefoot in the grass and seeing each other. We actually don't get to see each other as often as we would like, but.
And I feel like seeking out like creative outlets. Like I feel like the garden is like my creative like canvas. Like
yeah.
Because that flows into the work we do as well, because we wear like a million hats. So we're like doing content creation and, you know, writing newsletters and doing podcasts and, you know, like trying to figure out ways to really like nurture that creative side and like, you know, harness that like feminine wisdom as well. So, I feel like that's a huge piece of it, just to help us stay like grounded and connected.
Returning to ourselves a bit, a lot.
I love it. You guys are like echoing so many things that I teach my clients and students just across the board. And
that's wonderful.
I hope they listen to this and be like, yes, see, Rebecca knows what she's talking about. So like, just to kind of wrap this up, knowing everything that you know now, everything that you've walked through, if you could go back to your 16-year-old self and give you one piece of advice, what would that be?
Well, I'll start here. 16, 17, I was doing all the things. I was working like crazy. I was a busser at a country club, had all the sports, all the activities. My mom was a single mom. There was a lot. There was a lot going on. And that year, when I was 16, my health really took a turn. I think I got chicken pox. It was just, everything was getting thrown at me. And I look back and I feel sadness I've come to terms with the fact that I just went too hard. And I was always trying to prove my worth through being productive. And what are all these things I can handle? And what are all these things I can conquer? And I'm just now coming to terms with like, I didn't need to do that. So like kids they're so much busier now. Like the pressures that are on them, just like being a parent now, it's different from the 80s. And it's okay to just not bury yourself into busyness and to wear yourself out during these like great years of your life. Sorry.
Okay.
My gosh, it's just, there's a lot of pressure on kids. And there was in different ways when Natasha and I were growing up too, but that it's okay to take care of yourself. And it's nice to have a tool that can help you do that.
Yeah, I think that really resonates with me too. I don't know how to put it into words. Like I'm trying not to be emotional after seeing stuff. This is what we do.
Sorry. And it takes years and wisdom to be on the other side of what you thought life was at 16 and how you thought you were supposed to feel. And as true and as close as you can get to what you really feel in the moment, and to know if something is off and to not go against whatever your intuition is telling you.
Right.
I feel like we're kind of conditioned, especially as women, to just ignore all of that. So that's why we're coming back kind of fierce in these later years with a stronger understanding of maybe all the things that we let slide and how we wish we would have shown up for ourselves a little better. And to just know that you can do that at any time. You can do that at 16. You can do that at 44.
That's right.
We all have that capacity.
That's right. That's so beautiful. Just take a moment to breathe.
Right.
And, all the pressures that are put on you maybe aren't your pressures to take.
Aren't your pressures, and you can choose differently if you choose, if you want to.
And we didn't even have social media then. It's like, how did we survive without social media and Nano? I mean, we did.
GPS. Natasha and I drove cross country for this crazy sales job back when we were 20. Man, just a Thomas guide and a dream and a tape deck and some mixtapes that we made.
All the junk food from the gas stations, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
We got from Oregon to Tennessee in like 2 days.
Less than 2 days. A caravan, and it was my Jetta, my little 86 Jetta that was the one that lasted. All the other cars fell off. Kansas, Iowa.
Oh my goodness, those Volkswagens can keep going, can't they?
I did die the second we rolled up to the hotel.
Literally, as we rolled up to
As we rolled up, I was like, well, we made it. We're here. I'll get this fixed later.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
No cell phone, no nothing.
Wow. Thank you, ladies, so much. That's hysterical. Just goes to show you can do great things with very little, huh?
Yes.
That whole journey is like a podcast on its own.
It
right?
is.
So
It very much is.
maybe part 2.
How resilient we are. We were able to do a lot with very little, and sometimes we just stand in our own way and we overthink it, or we think we need more information, and really just let your intuition guide you as much as possible, and your faith.
I love it. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for your
Thanks, Rebecca.
time. I appreciate it. Really, it's been so wonderful getting to know you better and hear more about kind of your product and what you're doing and just how amazing it is. We do really, I mean, we've got bottles on every counter and nightstand and stuff in our house. But it's not just a product. You guys are just your people. There's people behind the product. There's a legacy there. It's just beautiful. There's, that connection. So thank you so much for taking the time just to chat with me today. I'm not going to get emotional either. It's just,
Yeah.
Let it fly. I open the gates. I always do.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. It's really been our honor to be on this podcast with you. And
Thank you for
we appreciate you giving us this opportunity and this platform just to share the brilliance of this formula and how it's helping people.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been an honor. Thank you very much.
happy to chat anytime. So you just let us know, and Godspeed to all the people you're helping. Thanks for bringing Nano to them.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much for spending time with me today with my friends Natasha and Stephanie. Again, I cannot say enough about Nano Ojas, and this is the season to stock up on it as you're getting ready for flu season, going back to school, all the things. Go to nanoojas.net. That's NANOOJAS.net and purchase your bottles. Use my code LIBERTY to get you 15% off. Please use my code because that's how I earn bottles for my family, and extra bottles we don't use, well, we give them away. So that's how much we love them. Please use my code. That's LIBERTY, LIBERTY. Have a great one. Liberty Wellness Podcast is for informational purposes only and for your entertainment. I do not necessarily agree with all the views shared by these guests. The information presented on this podcast is not intended to replace any medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. And while I am a healthcare provider, I'm not your provider. So always seek the advice of an appropriate healthcare practitioner with any personal questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you've heard on this podcast. Reliance on information by this podcast is at your own risk.